It's home sweet home after an extended road swing. The Oilers and the panel return to the friendly confines of Rogers Place. We're inside Ford Hall for this panel. The panel brought to you by Sport Chek. Of course, Tom Gazzola alongside Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer from the Oilers Radio Network. The Oilers return home with a 9-4-1 record, 2-2-1 on that road trip. Guys, we said it would be a big swing for this team. How would we say they handled that Eastern Conference road swing?
Well, in my estimation, the worm has turned. I'm not worried about things going back to the way they once were. For me, Edmonton legitimized itself on this particular road trip because, quite frankly, it could have been a 4-0-1 trip. The Oilers, in their two regulation defeats, they held the lead in the third period. There's going to be some hard lessons learned along the way, and two of them were learned in Madison Square Garden and at the home of the Stanley Cup champions. But I don't think you can say anymore that what Edmonton's done to this point in the season is a fluke. There was some legitimacy turned in on the road trip. Sure, there's going to be continued growing pains, losses, points that get away during the course of the season. But I feel comfortable in saying that this team is going to be a contender for the playoffs come April.
Bob, what did you notice most about that swing?
I think they left money on the table. You know, that's sort of further to what Jack said. I mean, I look at those games against Pittsburgh and New York, and they played teams that can really skate, and I think that, okay, there's some lessons there. They had a couple defense pairings that had some challenges with the speed. They need to manage the puck a little bit better amongst their forward units. The other thing that I like is there is so much room for growth, and they didn't necessarily have, I mean, at different times, McDavid was really good. Or you had Nugent-Hopkins, who was strong for the most part throughout the trip. Draisaitl had a real good game against Detroit, but at no point did all three of the centers really have it going on. And there's going to come a point where that's going to happen. So potential is there to improve on what they got. They're obviously in a growth phase, but I do think they've made significant headway, and I'm with Jack. I don't think we're going to see significant regression with this team.
Tom, the other thing is years back, especially even the back-to-back where the Oilers never win in Long Island, right, in Detroit. You come home 2-1 from that road trip, you'd be turning cartwheels. Right. No one was turning cartwheels when they got on the plane Tuesday night in Pittsburgh. That in itself is a really good sign for this club moving forward.
Yeah, and years prior, they would just be encouraged by
500 road trip.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Now there was genuine disappointment when they lost some of those games. Okay, they come home for two. They play the Dallas Stars, who are limping into this one. And then they get the New York Rangers, another crack at a really good team that they let the game slip away against. Let's start with the Stars games here.
And from my perspective, this is where we need to see where the rubber hits the road with the Edmonton Oilers, how much they've grown here, because you're going to have an opportunity, two teams playing back-to-back. You mentioned Dallas is banged up. Yep. The Oilers have got to assert their will and dominate those games early and capitalize on teams playing on the second of the back-to-back. We don't know how good the Rangers are on the road, Jack, because they haven't played any road games for New York yet.
They're pretty good at home.
They're good at home.
Yep.
And then you look at Dallas. I mean, they just got crushed 8-2 in Winnipeg. So there's an opportunity for the Oilers to make some hay, but they've got to be the team that defines how those two games are played.
Well, the other thing I want to see in this homestand is shot output. They're going to get one of two Dallas goaltenders. Both of them have struggled mightily. I mean, the Stars are banged up, but they're also not getting any saves. And this is the one thing that's undermined their value as a Stanley Cup contender is who's going to merge Lettinen or Niemi as a number one. They're not getting it. And then on Sunday, likely Edmonton's going to see Antti Ranta. And that's a situation where, again, you got to take advantage. Yep. As Bob indicated, you're getting the backup goaltender. You're getting a team on the second of a back-to-back. However, the Rangers are going to arrive in Alberta in kind of a nasty mood. They're coming off a bad home loss to Vancouver. So still a very good test against two of, at least going into the season, the conference's best.
All right, so the Oilers take on the Dallas Stars Friday night, then the New York Rangers on Sunday. Jack and Bob, as always, have the call for you on 6:30. Ched, I've got you covered right here on EdmontonOilers.com.